The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Amity Fire Department, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 39287. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting first with a general view of the front of the apparatus, let's move up onto the roof area where you'll find your emergency warning light bar, 5 identification clearance lights, and a forward-facing floodlight. There are 2 windshield wipers across the front windshield. Directly above the Freightliner logo is where you'll find the black handle. This is the cutout section for tilting the hood. Also, as we move to the grille, there are 2 forward-facing emergency warning lights on each side of the Pierce logo. As we move to the bumper extension, D-handle gains you access into the front bumper extension hose storage location, where you'll find a swivel discharge and dry deck material for your front bumper load. As we move to the face of the front bumper, you'll find your air horn and electronic siren. Just underneath this space is where you'll find 2 open-ended tow hooks. These are 6,000 pounds, direct pull, and are not intended for towing your vehicle. As we move to the headlight structure, you'll find your headlight housing a low and high beam headlight, also a marker turn indicator. As we move to the side of the bumper extension, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. And then moving up onto the hood, you'll find the air inlet for your engine. On the fender itself, you'll find a marker turn indicator. To the rear of the fender is where you'll find the release mechanism latch for gaining access into the hood area. Let's move now to the front axle, where you'll find Alcoa wheel and also a Michelin tire. General view of the side of the vehicle. Let's focus in on the front section of the cab with the mirror on the A-pillar, where you'll find a flat mirror and convex mirror. You'll also find grab handles for gaining access in and out of the cab for maintaining 3 points of contact, and also easily accessible with a gloved hand, the door lock and latch combination. Across the bottom is your fuel tank. It is the silver cap. That's your ultra low sulfur diesel fill. As we move to the blue cap, you'll find your DEF fill location and also an auto eject shoreline inlet, 20 amp. Also in the step well area, you'll find additional lights. In this space, 2 lift and turn latch paddle latches will gain you access into the battery storage location. As we move up to the door panel, you'll find affixed to the door panel safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and also additional warning placards. On the top section, you'll find mirror control and then also window and door lock control. As we move to the seat itself, you'll find in the lower section LED lights for the step area. At the base of the seat, it's where you'll find the master battery switch. You'll also find this yellow placard indicating the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle rate rating, and cold tire inflation. Also houses the VIN number and also fluid information for fluid capacity, fluid type, and also fluid amount. Moving now to the dash area, you'll find your keyed ignition, and then also a yellow placard here indicating the height of the vehicle, 9 feet 11 inches, length 31 feet 4 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 41,600 pounds. There are also control modules on the steering wheel itself, on the left control modules and right control modules, in addition with your shifter located on the dash column. As we move to the right, we'll identify a few items, first starting with the yellow diamond, pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. This is the rear spring brake. You'll also find your 4-way flasher, dome light, footwell, and automatic traction control. Moving just to the right of that location is your regen and regen off switch. Seatbelt information indicating red, someone is in the seat and not belted. Green, they are in the seat and belted. Your pump shift mechanism, instructions for operation, 2 indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump for pump operations. High idle, okay to engage the high idle, front scene, driver scene, rear scene, and passenger scene, along with load manager, and also volt indicator and door open alarm. Climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. As we move to the center console, additional switches here. These are your emergency switches. Starting on the left-hand side, working right, emergency master, roof, front, side, lower, and rear warning lights. Also, traffic advisor located here, and your electronic siren and PA speaker system located within this space. As we move to the rear of this location, you'll find additional storage locations for material. And as we look overhead in between the driver and officer seat, you'll find this red flashing light indicating do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment door open or ajar, and also your video monitor for your backup camera. As we move to the rear compartment, into this space you'll find seats located on the rear cab wall. At the base of those seats you'll find additional storage. Also, as we move into the stepwell area, you'll find lighting for those steps. As we move into the stepwell area, this is the rear portion of the driver's seat, a protective shield. And then also on the rear of that center console, you'll find 120 volt and 12 volt access. Air pack seats are located within the rear seats on the rear cab wall. Overhead, you'll find comfort lights. Let's go ahead and move now to the exterior pump panel area. We'll identify a few items within this area. First, starting with the crosslays in the upper left-hand side. There are two crosslays located here, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. Additional netting here for securing the hose. Moving just to the right of this location, grab handles and also pull down steps. As we move to the vertical side body wall, you'll find fold down steps for gaining access to go aloft. Let's take a look at the pump panel area. We'll start in the upper left-hand corner with the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi test pressures. To the right in the gray module, your master intake gauge and master discharge gauge. In between the two of those are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged and utilized for testing purposes. To the left, you'll find pump panel lights, switches, and OK to pump indicator, pressure throttle governor, and also a audible alarm. As we move into some of the warning placards, you'll find a warning placard here indicating entanglement hazard. Because those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. Moving to the right, you'll find crosslay 1, crosslay 2, and the front discharge. Also moving down, deluge and driver rear discharge, and a warning placard indicating fall hazard. Always face the vehicle while climbing on or off the vehicle, in addition with a water tank LED water level indicator. Engine cooler, which is a twist, not a pull. As we move downward, you'll find the tank to pump and also tank fill recirculating line. Just to the left is the air primer, push to prime for best practices, at least 1,000 RPMs. Moving just downward, you'll find the large diameter passenger side discharge. It is a wheel valve. And then moving just slightly to the left, you'll find driver 1 and passenger 2, 2.5 inch discharges. Also number 1 discharge 2.5 inch, and also a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. You'll also find the American flag Eagle Pierce logo, large diameter pump inlet on the driver's side. Right next to that, the main pump drain, and then just below that, the manual pump shift. As we move further down, you'll find your Watrous placard indicating the type of pump that you have and capacity, 1,500 GPM, along with a warning placard. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. Across the very bottom of the pump panel, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains, along with the 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled female ball valve pump inlet. And again, across the bottom, color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Also within this area, you'll find the air inlet. Let's move now to the body section next. We'll identify items within the body section. First, let's start in the upper left-hand corner of the side sheet, where you'll find a side-facing floodlight. As we move into the first compartment, you'll find an adjustable shelf. As we move into the upper left-hand side, on the vertical side, when plugged into Shoreline Power, this outlet is active, activating your battery charger to maintain battery status. As we move to the over wheel compartment, you'll find an adjustable shelf. And then just forward of the rear axle, you'll find a marker turn indicator light, and then also trigger latch gaining access into your SCBA bottle storage for 3 SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. Over wheel, you'll find an emergency warning light, part of the lower emergency warning light zone. And then to the rear, you'll find additional SCBA bottle storage for 3 bottles with retaining straps. Also to the rear axle, Michelin tires and Alcoa wheel. As we move to the rear compartment, this is a pass-through compartment, adjustable shelf in the midsection, and at the very bottom, a floor-mounted tray. The release for that floor-mounted tray is on the lower right-hand side. As we move underneath this compartment, it's where you'll find your wheel chock storage for both wheel chocks. Let's go ahead and move around now to the rear of the apparatus. We'll identify a few items within this area. Starting first, you'll find grab handles for maintaining 3 points of contact. Also, emergency warning light and side-facing scene light. At the very top, you'll find a rear-facing scene light located here. Just underneath this location is where you'll find your license plate mount. And then there are also some cupped switches located on the rear panel. These are for accessing the scene lights and hose bed lights. Just below this, you'll find an emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light cluster. On the vertical wall, you'll find fold-down steps for gaining access to go aloft, along with a 2.5-inch rear discharge. Some additional warning placards are in this area indicating fall injury, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion, always face the vehicle while climbing on or off, and entanglement hazard. Because lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As we move on the passenger and driver side, there are additional steps within this area for gaining access to go aloft. Let's now move into the rear compartment. Just above this area, you'll find hose bed dividers. They are adjustable. There are 2 located here, along with a traffic advisor, which is recessed, and also a backup camera. As we move down into the lower compartment door is a roll-up. Inside this space, you're going to find a through compartment from left to right, and then on those vertical sides, you'll find fold-down steps. As we move to the right side of this location, you'll find a D-handle for gaining access into your ladder storage compartment, where you'll find a 24-foot roof, 14-foot roof, 10-foot attic, and then also 2 long-handled pike poles. At the top, rear-facing scene light, and then down at the very bottom section, emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light cluster. Let's move around now to the side of the vehicle on the passenger side, full view. And we'll start with all compartments closed, and we'll start in the upper left-hand corner with a side-facing scene light on the side sheet. Also, emergency warning light, 360 degrees. In this compartment, you'll find an adjustable shelf and also a pull-out tray. The release mechanism for this tray is located on the lower right-hand side. Let's move to the over wheel compartment, where you'll find an adjustable shelf, LED lighting. As we move down, you'll find 2 pan doors located here, one to the rear and forward section of the axle. This one houses 3 SCBA bottle storage for up to 3 retaining strapped bottles. Over wheel is a side-facing emergency warning light. And as we move downward to the rear axle, you'll find once again Alcoa wheel and Michelin tires. Let's move forward of the rear axle, where you'll find an additional storage location. Trigger latch gains you access into the space for SCBA bottle storage for up to 3 SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps. Also, you'll find a marker turn indicator light and also a warning placard indicating extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist, especially during regen operation. Please be careful where you park your vehicle and provide protection. Moving forward, you'll find an adjustable shelf within this compartment. In the upper corner of this, on the vertical wall, you'll find 110 access when plugged into Shoreline power. Let's move just above this location, where you'll find a side-facing scene light, and then also on that vertical body forward section, you'll find fold-down steps for gaining access to go aloft. We're now into the pump panel area. We'll start first with access. At the very top, you'll find grab handles, top mounted and vertically mounted. As we move forward to this location, this is the crosslay area where you'll find two crosslays behind the netting, crosslay 1 and crosslay 2. You'll also find some warning here regarding entanglement hazard. Because of those lines coming from aloft, there is the possibility of entanglement. As I mentioned before, crosslay number 1 and crosslay number 2. There is also a pump panel light located here and also a warning regarding fall. Always face the vehicle while climbing on or off. We do have a lift and turn latch for gaining access into the pump panel area for visual inspection. As we look into the pump panel area here, moving down into the next section, general view, and then I'll move to the left pan door. Behind this pan door is where you'll find the relief valve settings for your main pump inlet. As we move to the panel itself, you'll find the American flag Eagle Pierce logo. This is your large diameter passenger side pump inlet. Also a warning regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. Also, your large diameter discharge is located on this side and a 2.5 inch discharge. Across the very bottom section of this panel is where you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. And then also your minimum operation maintenance schedule placard is located here also. As we move to the underside, you'll find additional lights, ground lighting in the pump panel area. We'll now move to the cab section, starting first with the rear portion of the cab. You'll also find access grab handles located here for 3 points of contact. As we move into the door onto the panel itself, you'll find grab handles and also warning placard information. On the top section, you'll find window control and door lock and latch combination for your electric door locks. As we move inside, you'll find the 3 forward-facing seats. Also in the stepwell area, you'll find lighting. Going back into the seat themselves, you'll find additional storage on the base of the seat. And then moving into the seat bracket itself, you'll find all 3 seats across the rear cab wall are equipped with SCBA brackets. As we previously mentioned, 12-volt access and 110 access when plugged into Shoreline Power. This is the B-pillar grab handle. As we move exterior, you'll find a downward-facing convex mirror over the officer's door, and then also a flat mirror and convex mirror. As we move into the officer space, easily accessible with a gloved hand, this is the door lock and latch. It is also keyed. And as we move to the door panel, once again, affix that door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, grab handle. On the top section of that door panel, window control and door lock. Let's move into the space now of the officer area, where you'll find when stepping into this space, there is additional lighting into the stepwell area. And then once we're inside, you'll find foot pedals located at the floor level. This controls your electronic siren and also the air horn. Under the officer seat, you'll find additional storage. And then the officer seat itself is an SCBA bracketed seat, and it also has a protective pad cover in the bracket itself. Overhead, the officer seat, you'll find cutouts here for future access. At the A-pillar, a grab handle. We're now back to the exterior where you'll find your hood latch release. Then also onto the fender itself where you'll find your marker turn indicator light. Moving forward to the front axle, you'll find Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel. We're now to the headlight structure where you'll find the low and high beam headlight and also marker turn indicator light. And on the front bumper extension, side-facing emergency warning light. Congratulations, Amity Fire Department, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 39287. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.